Hello yogis, and welcome to Abades Beach. We're on the east coast of Tenerife. It's a beautiful Sunday, and whilst we found a fairly quiet spot of the beach, it didn't stay quiet during the filming. As you will see, there'll be lots of legs going by. So today's practice is Vinyasa free. Not everybody finds the Vinyasa part of yoga what they want to be doing. Oh, there I am, just dipping my toes in the rather chilly Atlantic, although it was absolutely gorgeous. But as I was saying, today's flow will encompass standing poses, poses on the mat, everything you need for a rounded yoga practice, but without having to try to step it through between your hands, which doesn't suit people with stiff backs, any chronic back problem, and also people that are just less flexible. So this yoga flow is great for anybody who thinks that they aren't flexible enough to do yoga, because you are. So if you're ready to get started, let's roll out the mat and let's begin. Let's begin seated at the back of our mat. I'm sitting up on 2 blocks in Vajrasana kneeling, but you can be sitting cross-legged, whichever you find comfortable, and the blocks are purely for comfort. Make sure I keep my spine in its natural curves. Close off the eyes and drop into the breath first of all. Notice the breath coming in and out through the nostrils. Lower the right ear to the right shoulder, bring the right hand up and over, place it just above the left ear. Left hand reaching down to the ground to intensify that stretch along the left side of the neck, the left upper shoulder. Breathing here. Release, place the right hand down, inhale the left arm up, exhale into your side stretch, keeping both seat bones firmly on the mat or the block, whichever you're sitting on. Feeling that lovely stretch up the left side of the body. Exhale back through to centre. Lower the left ear towards the left shoulder. Bring the left hand up and over, placing it just above the right ear. Right arm extending down towards the floor. And rather than pulling down on the head, think more lengthening away from the ear. Exhale, bring the left hand down onto the floor. Inhale the right arm up and exhale into your side stretch on the left side. So you feel the stretch up the right side of the body. And imagine your chest opening up to the sky. Exhale, return to centre. I'm removing the blocks, bringing them back further up the mat, ready to use. Carefully come forward into tabletop position, knees under the hips, wrists under the shoulders. Navel up and in, not collapsing through the shoulder blades. Puppy pose, bring the hands to the top of the mat. Hips stay over the knees, and you can either place a block for your forehead to rest on if the forehead doesn't quite make it to the mat. The navel stays engaged to protect the lumbar spine. Arms are active here. This is an active heart to earth pose, so the elbows are off of the mat. Breathing deep. Inhale, return to tabletop. Extend the right leg back, stretch through the calf. Inhale the right leg up and the left arm. If you're feeling really wobbly here, you can keep the left arm down on the mat and work with the right leg raised. You'll still get the benefit for the back muscles and the core. Keeping that navel up and in to keep that core working. Return to tabletop and extend the left leg. Stretch through the calf. Suck that navel in. Inhale that left leg up. And if you want to, you can also bring that right arm forward, up and forward, and think length. Reaching away with the hand and the opposite foot, rather than thinking height. Gaze is straight down to the mat. Breathing here. Exhale, return to tabletop. I'm placing my blocks at the top ready. Rise up into a kneeling position and then bring your right foot forward and using your blocks, or you can put your hands on your thigh, come into this lovely restorative low lunge. Want to just check that the right knee is above the right ankle, not going beyond. Imagine pulling that right hip back whilst we're sinking into the front of our left thigh. Heel toe the right foot to the outer edge of the mat and bring the block, if you're using the blocks, to the inside. Turn this into lizard, a restorative lizard pose. So this now is opening the hip. Great stretch for the hip here on the right side. Breathing deep. Rise back up to your upright kneeling and then bring your left leg through. So we're coming into a low lunge on this side. Pulling that left hip back while sinking into the front of the right thigh. The hip flexors on the front of the right side are stretched now. Breathing deep. 5 breaths here. Then heel toe the left foot to the edge of the mat. Bring the left block just inside. Lizard. Sending breath to where you're feeling the stretch the most. Heel toe your foot back in, then pushing through that left heel, come back to your kneeling. Return to all fours and then come into a half plank position. Holding here, building strength, navel is up and in, shoulders are over the wrists. Exhale, lower all the way to the belly. Inhale, baby cobra, head, shoulders and hands lift off, exhale down. And again, inhale, baby cobra, exhale, lower. Inhale, baby cobra, exhale, lower. Really working the back muscles there. Inhale to a fuller cobra, so hands are staying on the mat this time. 3 breaths, exhale, bow. Inhale, push back up to all fours, rise up to a kneeling position, come back into your low lunge, leading with the right leg. Hands to the waist, curl the back toes. Inhale, rise up to high lunge. See if you can lift that back knee. Hands can either be at heart center or you can raise your arms up. If lifting that back knee is a challenge too far at the moment, stay in low lunge. You are still building strength. Exhale, hands to heart center, back to the waist, lower down to our lower lunge. Then bring that right leg back to a kneeling and shift the left foot forward this time. Curl the back toes, sucking everything into the midline. Inhale, push up, lift that back knee, hands either to heart center, or inhale, arms up overhead. Taking up space, hands don't need to be together. And again, if you're at the building strength phase, it's absolutely fine to keep the back knee lowered. Exhale, return to low lunge, hands to the waist. Come back to an upright kneeling. Return to half plank. And if you like, curl the toes and come into full plank. Kneecaps are lifted to engage the quads, navel is drawing up and in, doming through the shoulder blades, gaze is down. Exhale, lower all the way to the mat. Place your hands by your side, palms down on the mat. Do some back muscle work, coming into our locus. Inhale, lift the head and shoulders, half locust. 3 breaths here. Exhale, lower. This time we're going to lift the legs, so big toes sort of pointing towards each other, navel in, inhale, lift the lower legs off. The knees may come up, the thighs may come up, or they may not. 3 breaths. Exhale, lower. You now have options. You can either repeat the 2 half locus, head and shoulders first, then the legs, or come into full locus. Navel up and in, inhale, lift head, shoulders, arms and legs. 3 breaths here. Exhale, lower. Breath cycle to prepare for the final lift into locust or half locust. Navel in, inhale, lifting head, shoulders, arms and legs, or just the legs. Exhale, lower. Arms up overhead. Take a couple of breaths here to just let everything release any tension. Bring your hands under your shoulders, navel in, push back up to all fours, then rise up into an upright kneeling, toes curled. Place each hand on your lower back. Inhale, think length and pushing those hips forward so the glutes are engaged, opening out through the upper spine while we lean back gently. Gaze up to the ceiling, or if the neck is uncomfortable, straight ahead. Modified camel. Breathing here. Inhale, engaging the core to rise back up into neutral. Big toes together, knees as wide as the mat for a wide-legged child's pose. So you can, if your forehead comfortably comes to the mat, then great. If not, then place it on 1 or 2 blocks. Arms relaxed. Breathing here. Rounding the spine in the opposite direction. Nice stretch in the groin. Inhale, rise back up. Put the blocks to one side. Come down onto your back. Come down onto your back, legs as wide as the mat, into Shavasana. Time for the body to integrate all the work it has done. Let the breathing return to normal. Bring some movement back into your fingers and toes, wiggle your wrists and ankles, stretch up overhead, bend your knees in, roll onto one side, bring yourself up into any seated position that is comfortable. Arms up overhead, palms together, hands down to heart centre, thanking yourself for taking this time to look after your body. Namaste. I hope you have enjoyed this sequence. Leave me a comment below, let me know how you got on with it, and if you haven't already, please do click the subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching.